Hey there, and welcome to GamePoints, your weekly little get-together where we talk about recent gaming news. I'm, as always, your host, Stephen Brown, and joining me today is...
I'm David, and we're back.
Yes, after 3 long weeks, and yet we've already started the show with a technical error in the fact that I didn't full screen David, so you all got to see a lovely second desktop there when I came back in the room. Oh, David, how have you been these past 3 weeks?
Not bad. Pretty good. I don't know.
All right,
There's
fair
this
enough.
there's this
Fair
weird
enough.
thing that happens where you get to the holidays and you have Thanksgiving, and then almost immediately after it's Christmas, and then there's this nebulous period of time between Christmas and New Year's where time stops and nothing matters. But I still had to work at that period of time, so you go through like a week of not knowing what's going on, and now we're a whole week into the new year, and I still don't know what the hell.
We've only
I'm
been
still writing
gone.
2018 on forums, so I'm
This
doing
show
great.
has only been gone for 3 weeks, but it feels like 3 goddamn months, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Introspect, thank you for showing up the chat. Good to have you here. So a couple bits of housekeeping. One, we have a Discord server.
Oh yeah.
I know that a lot of people have been asking for a Discord server, and by I mean a lot, I mean small handful, but it does exist. If you want to join, I'll be putting it in the YouTube link down below, and I'll go ahead and pop it into chat right there. You can go ahead and pop right on in there. Just keep it cool when you're in there. I don't want to be like tyrannical overlord when it comes to moderation, so
He does.
I do love
Don't
power,
listen.
but I don't want to exercise that power unless it makes me friends. So
Mostly.
that's something you could look at. Plus, it will be down in the link boxes if you're watching this on Twitch down below if you want to take a look at that link. So feel
I
free
also
to pop
check
in there.
Discord far more than I check Twitter.
Yeah,
So
that
it's
is true.
actually legitimately a better way to get hold of me.
So feel free to pop in there. We also have some exciting news. We have an actual intro, like, beat music going on, courtesy of Vince Nitro, who just popped into the chat. I have heard possibly the final draft pop up in there. It sounds fantastic, Vince, and we will work out some details later. I appreciate you working on that for us. It is truly, truly appreciated, and it is exactly what I was looking for, too. David.
This is something that we are not qualified to handle,
No,
obviously.
not at all.
If you look at how many episodes we've done of this damn show. Woo.
Did you play anything special over the past few weeks, David? Because I played something that you're going to be excited that I finally started playing.
I'm not sure. I think I unlocked every character in Smash, and I don't know, watched a shit ton of movies and just did lazy stuff.
Fair enough.
You know.
No, it's good holiday fare. You're going to finally be proud of me. I started The Messenger last Friday.
Oh, thank God.
And goddamn, is that a game?
Right? I wasn't lying.
So good.
I have
The
been
Messenger is
constantly
so
talking about the Messenger since PAX West last year.
Yeah, I finally broke down and played. I played about 3 or 4 hours on stream Friday. Or was it Thursday? Last week sometimes. I will be continuing that tomorrow, by the way, during my normal streaming time. I am so blown away with how goddamn good that game is. I'm at the, I would say, second twist. I don't know if you finished it or not.
Actually, no, I got damn close. But then
Okay.
I think I started playing Dead Cells. I don't remember. I have a lot of platformers on my Switch. It's a little unreasonable.
Fair enough. But it is so good. So good. Wait a minute, how... When I say second twist, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't like... Because it looks like it might end, and then it keeps going.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, so we are talking about the same thing. I really don't want to mention it in chat because it came out of nowhere for me, and just... It blew me away how good it is. So I do recommend you take a look at The Messenger. It is sub $20. It's worth every single penny you can throw at it. David.
It was also on my favorite things of last year list, but
Yeah.
that's fine. Don't listen to me. Just listen to this ass. Whatever.
This podcast, of course, is about news.
That's true. We do like to talk about news.
And as far as news went, nothing really happened over the past few weeks until recently. And then just all this drama started popping up everywhere. So let's go ahead and get right into the first big story of 2019.
We have to mention the Ellie in the room.
God damn it. That's right. So, for those of you who pay attention to e-drama, as it were, especially in the esports scene, there was an issue with Overwatch over the past... it's been building up for a couple weeks, but it really blew up over the past 24 to 48 hours, would you say?
Yes. So this is all related to Overwatch. Now, this is not actually Overwatch League news. This is the something that started in the Overwatch. What the hell is the feeder league called?
The
Contenders?
Contenders League. It's kind of like a AAA baseball team.
Yeah.
Minor leagues.
There's a team called Second Wind.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually lost a member of their team, so they were a person short. And they did what they like to do, which is just scout the leaderboards. And they found a player named Elle, who was like rank 4 in North America, and approached Elle about potentially joining their team. Again, they're a contender lane. They're not a major Overwatch League team. And there was talks of Elle joining the team. And then when all that happened, there was a bunch of flack that kind of came up around Ellie's actual personage, I guess. Because as far as everybody knew, or seemed to know, Elle is just like a female player from the North American League. And people started noticing that the account was fairly new, climbed the ladder really fast. And it got really, really awkward from there.
So let's set up a brief timeline as what's going on. I will be posting all links that are somewhat relevant to the story down in the YouTube comments below if you're watching this on YouTube.
Or at least followable, because the further you get into this, it gets
really
almost annoying.
So it starts off like you were saying, David. A woman by the name who goes by the handle of Elle suddenly crashes into the Overwatch scene, quickly rising up the ranks. And Team Second Wind, in need of another player, takes notice of her, more or less goes through the process of signing her. Here's the thing, though. She advanced very, very quickly up the ranks. Like, suspiciously quickly.
Something that you'll often see in a Smurf account, which is just another pro player who makes a low-level account and then just dominates everybody who's low rank.
Right, and the pro players, once you start playing at that top-tier level, they all know each other. To the point where they know how they play their individual mains. They can tell by just watching gameplay who it is.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these professionals started taking notice of Elle. And this was more... goes beyond just, oh, she's a girl, she can't play Overwatch kind of nonsense that you see on the internet every now and then. This is actual professionals going, this looks a lot like a professional guy by the name of Punisher.
Non-professional,
sorry. But a high-level player.
Yes.
So much so, in fact, that 2 weeks before all this shit happened, people on Reddit were posting threads going, yeah, this is Punisher. Like, they could just tell by how they were playing that this is Punisher, who is a dude. That's important to the story. So, time goes on. Elle comes up, rises up the ranks. She was in the process of signing to a team called Second Wind, which is kind of like a minor league esports team. And she's going to become the first female player to join a pro team in Overwatch's Contenders League. Once again, minor league status. There is a Korean lady who I think is the first actual professional pro-level Overwatch Overwatch player. And then the harassment starts. Now, what do I mean by harassment? Some of it, yes. Horrible shit, you're a girl, get out of my game. You know, typical internet shit. When people go after the lowest common denominator designed to set you off. For example, the same people who would say, you're a girl, get out of here, you can't play, are the same people who come to me and go, you fucking have glasses, you can't play. They focus on what they were perceived as your weakest spot and hammer home on it.
These are the same girls don't exist on the internet crowd.
Yes, exactly. Now, some of that was happening. But there was also a lot of people going, no, something's fucking wrong here. Elle is fake. Here, we have somewhat proof. I use proof loosely because you can't really prove it until the vetting starts happening. But they're like, look, she plays just like Punisher does. We have some chat logs.
They have the same hero pool. They have the same like ranking.
This is clearly a boosted account because I think the original claim was she leveled up extremely high on Doomfist, but hasn't touched Doomfist since the controversy started, so they just don't play that character anymore. Their ratings started dropping dramatically quickly afterwards, which is a sign of a boosted account. There was all this evidence that showed that Elle might not have been Elle. But and this is where things start getting really fucked up. There were legitimate harassment against her. There was all these people saying, no, she's not a girl. This is why we think that. And then you started getting threats of doxing, but as I started trying to look into this, I couldn't actually find any threats of doxing besides one person who might have actually been a fake account as well. Like the person who threatened to dox her might have been Punisher himself making an account to threaten to dox her. It gets internet conspiracy theory rabbit hole-y, but the long and the short of it is the small number of people complaining about Ellie were harassment, but most people are going, no, there's something fucking wrong here, and we can't quite place our finger on it, but something's wrong. Ellie then announces, hey, she's out because of harassment. She's like, I can't handle this, I'm bouncing out. And then,
not joining the team,
yeah,
all this other stuff.
And then you enter in the Polygons and the Rock Paper Shotguns and the Kotakus, who run the cover story, female gamer chased out by toxic men in gaming. And they're putting up all these articles talking about how sexist gamers are and how evil and toxic Overwatch is. And if they just would have taken like a few minutes to research this, they would have seen very quickly, no, yes, there are your typical number of assholes that pop up here and trolls, but there's a lot of the controversy wasn't even about her being a girl. It was like, no, we don't know who this person is. It's clearly a scam of some kind. But that doesn't stop the good headline of men are sexist, gaming is sexist, Overwatch is sexist. We have to push our fucking narrative out the door without looking into it. Fortunately, we actually have some people who do their due diligence in the form of Rod Breslau and Richard Lewis. Once again, I'll be popping their twin links down below. These are two esports commentators. They know the game inside and out. They're actually immersed in this world. And both of them more or less flat out came up and said, hey, within 2 hours, we fucking figured out what was going on. They found out.
Well, mainly because one of them, I don't remember which one, literally emailed Punisher.
Yeah, got in touch with them.
Hey, are you Ellie? To which Punisher said,
yeah.
Yeah.
Meaning that the original spate of articles that came out from Polygon, Rock Paper Shotgun, Kotaku, they just fucking wrote about things and didn't bother to follow up with them. Now, one of the writers, Nathan Grayson, I believe his name is, doubled down saying, oh, I've reached out and contacted him and no one ever came up to me, but we have deadlines. To which he was rightfully called out, you run a self-published magazine, you don't get fucking deadlines. It was a good narrative. It was a race to get clicks is what this shit was. So now they have egg on their face.
To be fair, is all journalism.
Yes.
But unless you have a really lazy weekly podcast that's 3 weeks late.
I at least expect some level of professionalism. For example, I spent a couple hours just organizing this fucking timeline. Come on.
That's true. There's a lot of shit to get through.
But yeah, Rod Breslau and Richard Lewis more or less found out that, hey, Punisher is Ellie. Yep. That every now and then you'd hear her female voice pop in when he was playing. It was one of his female friends popping in to record dialogue. Or
several of his female friends.
Or several of them, as it may be.
Because there actually wasn't one like girl in charge of Ellie. It was literally just Punisher the whole time.
Right. And the entire story ends with Punisher coming out saying it was, he might have said this, but apparently it was some failed social experiment. But that sounds like bullshit. This just sounds like a troll trying to troll. Second Wind, to their credit, came out and said, hey, we fucked up on this. We didn't properly vet her. We were so goddamn desperate to get a player in.
We just needed a damn player, and we tried to get this going.
Yeah, and to their credit, they didn't try to make an apology for anything. They said, hey, we fucked up. So, all credit to Second Wind. They were also taken in by this. But after all of this happened, where does this leave us? It leaves us with topic number 1. Harassment is fucking bad. Don't do it. Don't harass people online. It's fucking stupid. I just want to get that out of the way
on the internet
right now before someone watching this goes, oh, you support harassment, blah, blah, blah. No, fuck you. Don't harass people online. Don't be a dick online.
That's like our whole mantra.
Point 2. The mainstream sites, and once again, I'm going to call out Polygon, Kotaku, and Rock Paper Shotgun, fucking suck at their jobs with rare exception. I'm looking at you, Jason Schreier. You're actually fucking decent at what you do. But they will jump on anything that further helps their pet political causes. And this is one of those cases. And they wound up with fucking egg on their face because they didn't do the most basic due diligence because they just went, oh, it's those people who are saying it. They always lie. Fuck them. And when this was found out, instead of coming out and saying, hey, we fucked up, they doubled the fuck down.
It's like, okay, yeah, maybe that's what happened, but still, fuck those guys.
Yeah. They came out with several articles justifying the shoddy reporting. They came out and said, well, this could have happened, and this happens every other time. Except with one bright, shining star in the sky. Eric Kane of Forbes is the fucking boss. Because he came out almost immediately and said, hey, I didn't write an article on this, but I did tweet about it. That tweet was wrong. I fucked up. In fact, I will read you exactly what his tweet says here in 1 second. And he says this in response to the person who wrote a Rock, Paper, Shotgun article talking about how, well, this still needs to talk about female gamers and how they're disrespected. He came out and said, I think it's best we just admit we got suckered. I only made a tweet about it, but my tweet was wrong and we should do better. I should have spent more time looking into this before saying anything. A hard lesson, but a good one. Thank you, Eric Kane. Jesus fucking Christ. You want another person to actually follow Eric Kane. Because goddamn, he's actually good at what he does too. So it just shows that this narrative of gamers are all misogynistic and evil trumps even facts at this point.
I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is that people suck in general.
Yes, which brings us to the next point. This situation fucking sucks for actual women trying to get their esports now. Because while it is, in my opinion, a vast minority of dicks who pull the you're a girl, no girl in internet land bullshit, they now have fuel for their fire because they proved that this one outlying case was actually a fraud.
Yep. So now any girl who's like rising up the ranks or trying to get on a team, everyone's gonna be like, well, it's just another Ellie.
Yep.
Like, who's this asshole? Or just, the thing they like to do. Even though this entire situation was created by a dude, it sucks for women.
Yes. Now, as far as that dude goes, Punisher, it was originally reported he was trying to prove a point. That gaming isn't necessarily as misogynistic as everyone says it is, because he was like, listen, I'm good enough to get on a pro team. No one signed me. I bet if I pretend I'm a woman, I get signed within a week. And sure fucking enough, he did that. And he was signed in a fucking week. which, if anything, is like a reverse gender discrimination. But that being said, I want to make it 100% unambiguous. Punisher is a fucking jackass.
Agreed.
The fact that might be a Texas sharpshooter fallacy. I don't know what that is, Vince Nitro. Though I kind of want to put on my fallacy referee shirt. It's easy to make a point in hindsight. Okay. Fair enough. I understand what you're saying. And that's what I'm addressing right here. I don't think Punisher did this for any grand social experiment. That's what he's saying right now.
Did it because why not? Make a Smurf.
Yeah, I think he did it
sounds fun.
For the lulz, in my opinion.
He probably could have got a really popular Twitch stream.
Yeah. In my opinion, he didn't do it to make a point. He didn't do it to try to do some valorous look at the social experiment. That reeks of desperation of someone who got caught. It is now trying to find any possible way to keep from getting slammed. And I want to say this once again. Fuck Punisher. He fucked this up for so many people, for good and bad. The bad is he fucked it up for women trying to get into esports, because now they're all going to be viewed suspiciously as of an ex-Ellie. He fucked it up for Second Wind, because now they have to eat a lot of shit for what's going on here. They fucked it up for Blizzard, for not having tighter controls on things. This is one of the good things that came from this. They fucked it up for the mainstream sites who are clearly just so politically biased that they just saw the headline and ran with it because they knew it would push their narrative.
You mad about that?
That's been a bugaboo up my ass for since this podcast started.
Yeah, but see, this is our time. Now's our chance. we can take over.
Time.
Down here.
Down here.
Never has there been a truer statement.
And this whole thing is just a shit show. The only people that get something fully positive out of this are the assholes we don't want to get anything positive out of this, because now they can go, it's just another Ellie. And it's like, fuck. Dude, you fucked up hard. And
I still want to know who Second Wind's going to sign.
Honestly, let me know if I'm off base here in chat or not, be it YouTube or Twitch or live here. I think if it's proven that this is the timeline that happened, and I'm going to say allegedly because I don't think we have any hard proof on this just yet, and you still need to go through the proper channels. If this all turns out to be 100% factual, Punisher needs to be fucking banned from Overwatch. At least any attempt doing it professionally.
Oh, I don't think he's going to make it. I don't think anyone's going to sign him now.
He falsified documents to get into esports, essentially, is what he did. And that shit needs to be put.
Also, if you dig deep enough, there's other rumors that he had a different, like, former pro who was kicked off a team boost him in the first place.
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit here. I'm not saying he should lose access 100% to Overwatch or anything like that, but he should be banned from any kind of professional or amateur setting, because that's how much damage he has done to the scene. Anyways, let me know what you think about that shit down below. And like David was saying, this is just like the tip of the iceberg on this. I could spend a show and a half just on this one topic alone with how many fucking layers this goes down. It is so complex.
But unfortunately for Steven, and fortunately for you, I'm here, and I'm not allowed to let that happen. So we're going to change the subject. That's what's going to happen. We're going to go from Steven being mad about something to
God damn it.
Your favorite thing, Steven being mad about something.
God
now,
damn this
there was a
game.
teaser that came out very recently over on the YouTubes that you can take a look at. There will be a link for Alien Blackout. Oh, man, a new Alien game?
That's
just
amazing. A new Alien game. An Alien game that is somewhat teased because it stars Amanda Ripley, protagonist of Alien Isolation, as a sequel to one of the best Alien games I've ever played.
Yeah, dude, we might get another Isolation. This is going to be the sequel. This is going to be great. And then it turns out, just like every other thing that you used to love, Alien Blackout is a mobile game.
Fuck me. Vatera
as of right now, if you pull it up on YouTube, it's got a grand total of 262 likes and 7.3 thousand dislikes.
Hold on.
Because that's how people like to vote nowadays.
Amazing. From the article that you see here from the official Twitter page here. Now remember, Alien Blackout was kind of teased right before the Game Awards. I was like, oh shit, this is going to be a reveal from Jeff Keighley. It's going to be another Alien. Announced today, the terror of Alien brought to life on mobile devices in Alien Blackout, available January 24th. And if you look at that fucking trailer, I shit you not, it looks like a reskinned version of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's pretty fantastic. Use the space station's limited power supply to operate a holographic map, surveillance cameras, and motion tracker. Attempt to remain hidden and protect your crew from the perfect hunter in 7 fear-inducing levels.
The key words there,
wow.
Limited power supply. That's the fucking mechanic right there. You run out of power, pay 500 eggs to fucking last another 60 minutes before the chest burster bursts out of you. That's going to be what it is. I know for a fucking fact that's what's going to be. Now, to be fair, I haven't played it. It's not out yet. It's not going to come out for another couple weeks. It could be different. But god damn it, you know it's going to be full of that shit. The only good thing to come from this is to be made by D3 Go. These are the guys who made Marvel Puzzle Quest, which is a all-right mobile game. But god damn it, why is it so fucking hard to take this It should be a no-brainer to make a decent Alien game. We've seen them before. Isolation was fun. The original Aliens vs. Predator and Aliens vs. Predator 2 from Rebellion back in the late 90s, early 2000s, those were fun. Fuck, even Alien 3 on the Super Nintendo was a decent game. But for every good one, we get like fucking Colonial Marines, the most recent Alien vs. Predator from Rebellion, which kind of fucking sucked. How can a property where the entire goal is just to either hide from something trying to kill you or mow down waves of enemies as they try to kill you be so hard to pull off?
Oh, it's not that it's hard. It's that they don't give a shit about you because it turns out you don't have that China money. where mobile games are fucking
Yeah.
huge.
I mean, that's
That's
a big
why
part of it.
that's why all these huge franchises are going mobile. That's why we get Alien. That's why Command and Conquer's mobile. That's why Diablo Immortal exists, being made partnered with a Chinese company
You know, it's a
because that's
go
where
ahead.
the money lives.
It's a little bit more than that though.
I mean,
This
I feel like
this
it's a pretty big
it
part of
is
it because
nowadays.
anyone who's sitting in a boardroom and they're trying to pitch new ideas can say, "Hey, let's make another AAA Alien game that's going to be niche. It's going to be a survival horror game." Of which they can look at a list of games that have done really well and find out about how much you can make and how much it's going to cost to make the project in the first place. Or they say we could just shit out a Five Nights at Freddy's clone. It's going to cost $20 to make, and if we get 4 whales, we'll make a shit ton of money.
The problem's a little bit deeper than that for me though, and let me explain why.
All right.
Specifically with the Alien franchise, what you're saying is a big part of it, but there's something more fundamental about it. The Alien franchise is treated with as much love and care as Games Workshop treats the Warhammer licenses.
They give it to literally anyone.
Anyone who is willing to pay for it can fucking have it, regardless
Which
if
wasn't the case for a long time for GW.
Yeah.
GW held on to it for a long time.
Regardless if they make a great game, in Warhammer's case, like Warhammer Total War or the upcoming Battlefield Gothic Commando 2, those are good GW games.
Hey, Space Marine was easily like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah. Or it could be fucking garbage, like Colonial Marines or Deathwing, if we're going to go back to the 40K game. There is no love and respect for the IP from those who own the IP. None. You can pony up the money, they'll let you make something for it. I could fucking throw $10 million at Fox, 20th Century Fox, for the Alien IP, and they will let me do whatever I want with it, or however much the going rate is. Regardless of my skill as a developer, regardless of my skill as a writer, regardless of my skill as an artist, as long as I pay for it, they will let me have it. And that is why we get such a slapdash collection of games from both of those IP. Let's stick with the Aliens and Alien franchise specifically. That's why we have some amazing stuff, because people who really care for the IP ponied up to play it. And that's why we have some total shit, because people who just wanted to make a quick buck off the fan base can pony up the money and make something for it. And that has been a problem specifically with Aliens, Predator by lesser extension, since like the mid-90s.
Yeah, basically. I think the old games were tie-in movie games. If we go back far enough.
Once again, a couple great ones. Alien 3 on NES sucked ass. The old beat-em-up Alien vs. Predator, fucking amazing. Like the actual arcade beat-em-up in the style of Final Fight or that the legendary X-Men or Simpsons game. That was amazing. There is such... It's just... I know it sounds pretentious as fuck to start going, oh, they don't have respect for the IP. But that's what this shows. They show that they literally will pour it out to anyone who pays up for it. And you know what? Once again, I'll throw this out there. The game's not out yet. I haven't played it. It could be fucking amazing. But let's be honest here. It's a mobile game.
Yeah, dude. And if nothing else, we are still at least game elitists because we have a show on the internet. So obviously we have no... Dude, I actually like mobile games. Fuck.
I like a few of them. But
I don't like
for every one good one, there's literally 1,000 bad ones. And this looks like go watch the trailer. It looks like Five Nights at Freddy's with a fucking alien skin. She's like sitting there hiding from an alien, apparently being in the dark protection from an alien.
Checking different cameras. Oh, whoa, he's not coming for me. Okay, we'll keep this guy alive. Oh, nope.
Anyways, we'll see how that shakes out in a couple weeks. But yeah, Vince Nitro says the best mobile games are so seldom high-effort ventures. For every Bloons TD6, there's 1,000 pieces of derivative trash. I have no idea what the hell Bloons TD6 is. At all. So, I'm going to trust that it's good. David.
Yes.
This, if it wasn't for Alien, and if it wasn't for the Overwatch bullshit. Oh, Bloons Tower Defense. Thank you, Vince Nitro. this would have been the lead story, because this has been a story we've been kind of following off and on for the past, it feels like decades.
800 million years.
But
since I think the early 90s, we've been talking about this story because this deals with Star Control.
yes,
This time specifically, we're talking about Star Control Origins, which is a game that actually was released a while ago. This is the Stardock Star Control game. That's Brad Wardell's crew over there.
Yep.
So this is not the game that's being made by Paul and Fred, the original creators.
That one's called Ghosts of the Precursors, I believe.
Yep. This is the Stardock one. So we've covered this a lot. It's a little bit complicated because Fred and Paul made Star Control, worked on Star Control 2, Urcon Masters, and then I think they licensed it to Accolade for Star Control 3. And then shit gets weird because Accolade went under. It was bought by Atari, the license that they held. And then when Atari went down, Stardock bought the license from Atari. Now, the license they bought and what it contained has been something of a legal issue for the last couple years now, honestly. While Brad from Stardock says that they own the entirety of Star Control and all the licenses involved, Paul and Fred say that originally the only thing that was leased was the actual assets being created for Star Control 3.
Yeah,
and they own all the original characters, all the original aliens, ship designs, everything from the older games. And there's just been a fight because one company announced a game, the other guys announced their game. They're both going to be the successor to the last Star Control game. And basically, two shall stand, one shall fall.
Yeah,
is how that's going down.
It's been a fight, at least in the legal sense, of the past year, maybe a year and a half at this point. It deals with trademark and copyright and what the difference between trademark and copyright is, and it's really fucking complex. Neither one of us are lawyers, and we even had Brad Wardell himself on our show for like an hour talking about this. And I mean, props to him for showing up at the last second.
We didn't learn shit from that guy.
All I know is I know even less about this than I thought I did. But that
turns out he still thinks they own all of it, and they don't. That's what we learned.
That's for a judge to decide. At this point, I'm stepping completely away from who owns what and just going to go fucking have a judge tell me what it is. That's why we have the legal system, to make these determinations. But why we're talking about it right now is because Paul and Fred over at Toys for Bob has filed a DMCA strike, or claim rather, against Star Control Origins. And as such, it has been taken down from Steam, which you can see the forum post here, and GOG.
GOG, good old games.
This post is from Dragonol, who is Brad Wardell's online handle. By the way, Brad Wardell is very
outspoken on Twitter.
Outspoken on Twitter. He likes to show up anytime the game is mentioned. So, and I can respect that to some degree, but I don't know where I was going with that thought, so I'm just going to leave it where it is.
Nice, great job.
Long story short, he likes to personally deliver the news rather than handing it through a PR person, with all the pros and cons that comes with. So this is him himself writing this right here. Star Control Origins will be coming down. We have received news today that Paul and Fred, the designers of classic DOS game Star Control 2 for Accolade, have issued a DMC takedown notice to Valve to take down Star Control Origins. There was one also set to good old games. He, of course, is against this, as he would be, because it's targeting him. He goes on to say, unfortunately, rather than relying on the legal system to resolve this, they have chosen to bypass it using a vague DMCA takedown notices to Steam and GOG. I believe the judge said it was okay for them to do that in Paul and Fred's defense. I'm not positive, though. Once again, this legal drama
it's a little simpler in this specific instance, because a while ago, Stardock requested an injunction against new DMC notices. An injunction is a court order that restricts or compels specific actions by a person or company. So basically, Stardock asked the courts to say, hey, can you tell Paul and Fred that they can't strike us DMCA claims? And while that is still being thrown around in court, they released Star Control Origins. And it turns out you can't release something that makes you money. You can't release purportedly infringing material in the middle of litigation and then ask the court to screw over the guys that potentially hold the rights to what you just released. That doesn't really work.
From what I pulled from Leonard French's Twitter feed, Leonard French is a copyright attorney on YouTube. He has been covering this since day one. From what I pulled from his Twitter feed, and once again, I'm going to use a lot of vagaries here and to the best of my recollection because this shit gets so complex. He hinted that the letting Paul and Fred go with the DMCA was less about the case and more about the fact that the judge was pissed at Brad Wardell for doing this.
Yeah, so, I mean, you're in the middle of a lawsuit that says, hey, can you tell these guys to stop pulling down our games when we release them? And then you release the game anyway and just expect the court's going to be on your side. Instead, the judge said, nah, we don't like that.
It's going to be made more complex in the fact that while Steam and GOG have taken down sales of that game, Stardock themselves are now just selling it directly.
Yep, on their website.
Now, brass balls on Wardell. Because if this ruling is against him, that's going to add up real quick.
Yeah, who didn't see him doing that, though?
That's part of his personality. He is extremely brash. He is extremely fucking come and take it kind of mentality. Which, hey, I respect to a degree. But there is a time and a place for picking your battles. And maybe when you're dealing with litigation, being like that on the internet isn't one of them. But, hey, his company, go for it. Knock yourself out. In response, Paul and Fred, the guys who run up Toys for Bob. One thing I want to mention too, by the way, to go back to my rant about how a lot of games media tend to lean politically one way or another. There are a lot of pieces fluffing Paul and Fred while demonizing Brad Wardell. Some of it valid, some of it not. But one thing that I really take umbrage with is the idea that Paul and Fred, who seem like nice people, I've had some correspondence with them, they seem like decent guys, but let's not keep portraying them as the Davids to Stardock's Goliath. These guys are the head of Toys for Bob, a subsidiary of Activision.
Again, this specific project is something they're doing on the side. So
yes, but they
in comparison of money for project stake, they kind of are.
Yeah, but let's
also old-timey gamers from the 90s like you are super on their side, I thought.
They're not living in a garage. And a lot of the spin is, oh, look at Brad Wardell picking on these tiny poor developers. It's like, nah, they're roughly equal level when it comes to resources they can pull on. And once again, in my opinion. So let's just kill the David and Goliath narrative right now because I think it is deeply unfair to Brad Wardell. That said, Brad Wardell does himself no favors.
True.
Let's just get that out of the way right now. And Paul and Fred seem very nice, and they have done, legally, in my opinion, the smart thing. They haven't said shit.
Yeah.
Except for the occasional blog post, which I have right here, and this is from their site.
Which I pulled most of the info from earlier.
Yeah,
so
Dogar and Kazon.com. Dogar and Kazon, by the way, are like their persona in the StarCraft universe, if you're wondering where that comes from. And they put up this infographic right here, comparing Star Control 2, which is what they say is theirs, lock, stock, and barrel. Mm-hmm. Star Control 3, which is the game they licensed to Acclaim, and what they say Brad Wardell actually has the rights to, and Star Control Origins. And it kind of breaks down what they say are infringements on their trademark or copyright or whatever the fuck it's called, because like I said earlier, I can't tell you the difference between trademark and copyright anymore. The more I look into it, the more confused I get. And on its face, they look very similar, right? So like they break down interstellar travel uses hyperspace. In Star Control 3, interstellar travel uses warp bubbles. In Origins, it uses hyperspace. What they're doing through here is going, if they would have said warp bubble, that's one thing, because Star Control 3 is what they own. But instead, they use term Star Control 2, which they don't, which Stardock doesn't own. Stardock alleges they do own it.
Yeah, and then the fight back is Brad is saying that you can't copyright a single word, but that's interesting because they're not breaking down everything into a single part. It's look at all of this together. Take all of this and combine it, and look at which one of these two products their game is more like. Which,
yes,
I'm not a judge, but I don't know. It seems to lean more towards the second one than the third one. Well, what
And
the fuck do I know?
Brad Riddell took this infographic and like red penned it saying, hey, this is in like Dune, you can't trademark a color, you can't blah 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 blah. And the fight seems to be coming down to Brad Wardell is looking at all of these claims individually.
Yep.
Paul and Fred are looking at all these claims as a collective. And it's going to come down to a judge to determine, will he look at these individually or will he look at these as a collective? Because Brad Wardell makes a bunch of good points. You can't copyright a color, for example. You can't copyright that hyperspace is red so in Star Control 2, so it can't be red in any other game. You can't do that.
It's true.
But if you go, hey, their hyperspace is red, they have this in here, they have that in here, they have that, and all this taken as a whole presented before the judge might go, okay, Paul and Fred have a point. I'm not going to tell you what I think, because, like I said, we have been reporting on this fucking story for fucking 20 years.
800,000 years.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just more confused the farther I go into it.
Oh, boy. But yeah, if you want to get interested, there's two different places you can go. One is the colorful Twitter page of Brad Wardell.
Yep.
The other one is going to be Paul and Fred's blog, which again is the dogarandkazon.com. That's where they go and post all their updates when they can. They tend to quiet down when things get very legally. But they actually did have a pretty long post about this specific instance because, hey, they issued some DMCA notices and wanted to justify why.
And I would also recommend taking a look at Leonard French's channel. He is a copyright attorney who posts on YouTube all the time. He literally has on this specific topic like an hour-long video. That just
he's far smarter than we are when it comes to
he's
this
an actual lawyer, so go visit him. I will give this word of warning right now for anyone getting into this. As you said, Brad Wardell can be very incendiary on Twitter. And as such, he is a figure in this ever annoyingly increasing culture war that's going on. So people will literally go, well, if you support him, then you hate this. And just keep that in mind. Or they go, if you support this, then you must hate him. And there is a lot of that political bullshit involved around him as a person specifically. And it does taint the reporting on this story. So just keep that in mind when you go into this. David.
Speaking of tainted things, let's talk about Soulja Boy and his damn game console.
By the way, Coco Tacos, thank you for showing up. Sorry I didn't get into it. I was in the middle of a roll with the Brad Wardell start off.
He's always in the middle of a roll. That's what he does.
All right, David, lead us off.
In a story from Rolling Stone, where we often get all of our news, Soulja Boy's gaming console is no longer available. What?
Which is fucking
Not long
hilarious.
after its debut, Soulja Games appears to be dead, despite Soulja Boy's claims that the emulator was 100% legit, because an emulator that plays literally thousands of classic games that you do not in any way own is definitely legal, except it turns out it's not, and this thing is dead in the water, because you can't just release a fucking emulator box, put your name on it, and assume that you can make free infinite money.
My favorite part is,
asshole.
My favorite part is he deleted this tweet, but he came out and said, for anyone that thinks Nintendo is going to sue me, you're retarded. Nothing's going to happen. Everything is legit. My console isn't going anywhere. Trust me. And then a day
Meanwhile, we've had episodes pulled off of fucking YouTube for including a trailer for a game that Nintendo released to the public for use.
And then a day later, he has to take the console off the stores with the following quote, I had to boss up, I didn't have a choice. I am all for confidence, right? I am all for like, no, fuck this, I got this. But there's between confidence and then just brash-ass arrogance, thinking that not just Nintendo, but Microsoft and Sony are going to take this shit line down.
Oh, no, dude, this thing was supposed to be able to play Switch, 3DS, Vita, Neo Geo, GBC, Game Boy Color, whatever games, everything.
It's just fucking... The
and the best part is the whole thing is just a rebranded Chinese emulator box.
That you can get for half off, yeah. Which is already
way cheaper
to begin with.
If you order it from China, where China doesn't care, they'll make whatever they want. Getting one here is not the best idea.
And this just relates to the whole thing about fucking copyright that we're talking about. It's like, goddamn, dude, you can't just. This isn't like the whole Star Control thing, which I don't even know. This is one of those things that we all looked at and went, dude, this. Good luck.
Yeah, dude, it's not gonna work. Ain't gonna make it.
Coco says that he's been a joke in the hip hop community for years now. You know, I'm not a hip hop guy, if you couldn't tell. But I know, weird. But from what I understood from gathering on this, because this is one of those weird things where gaming kind of intercrossed with music, he was just getting mocked relentlessly for this, from what I understand, from like people who were actually big deals in the hip hop community. So, good times, good times. So yeah, thus ends. So here's the thing, David.
Yes.
I kind of want one of these now.
Oh, the Chinese one?
No, I want Soulja Boy's console.
Specifically Soulja Boy's one now.
That shit is a collector's item now.
That's true. Anyone that managed to pick one up, you could probably sell it for
tens
about
of dollars.
half of what you paid for it.
You could sell it for tens of dollars.
Or you could just probably go on Soulja Boy's website if he still has one, buy a fucking sticker, buy the original thing from China, put the sticker on said thing, and still sell it for less than you paid for the Chinese one.
I want to have it bronzed and have a mantelpiece made out of it to constantly remind me of the dangers of hubris.
That's pretty good, actually.
That's why I want a Soulja Boy console. And I'd be willing to pay $5s of dollars for it.
I just hope when it comes time for the Game Awards at the end of the year, that everyone remembers this great and noble sacrifice that Soulja Boy made. Oh my God, it's so funny.
It's good to be back, isn't it? Let's go ahead and move on to the next story. We got a couple of very, very quick hits here. One of them is that Persona 5 R has been teased. This is via Persona Central. Persona 5 R teased, new information coming March 2019. At the end of the Persona 5 animation 1-hour special broadcast titled Dark Sun. By the way, Persona 5 animation is a Japanese anime that follows the events of Persona. They do this a lot in Japan. They make an anime based on the plot of the game. They did the same thing for Persona 3 and Persona 4. Atlus released a teaser video for Persona 5 R through the Phantom Thieves, opening with the PlayStation logo. Further details are unknown on this project, but additional details will be released in March 2019, as well as new projects. This is, in my opinion, what the equivalent of Persona 4 Golden was, but for Persona 5. It's going to be a recut of the game with extra content on there. And yes, I'm aware that it has the PlayStation logo on there, but when March hits and they announce it, I'm still convinced you're going to see this announced for the Switch.
Yeah, it's entirely possible.
Other Atlus news while we're on here real quick, just a quick thing to let you know. Catherine, that weird puzzle game about romance and relationships and of late 20-year-old, not singles, but people who are kind of still dating. It's really weird and complex. Catherine has been given an ESRB rating for PC, so expect to see that game make its way to computers soon.
Sega's been moving a lot of its games to PC.
Yeah, as well as being teased all over Steam. If you go to the forums of Bayonetta and Valkyrie Chronicles 4, you see pictures of sheep. Sheep are very key to the plot of Catherine. Like I said, it's an extremely odd game, but an amazing one. I recommend you all go take a look at it. David.
I'm going to pass on that. Instead, I'm going to take a look at this Marvel game that a bunch of former Hearthstone designers are working on. In a story from Kotaku, former Hearthstone director Ben Brode and a group of his colleagues left Blizzard last year, and although they haven't announced what they're making next, today they dropped some news, and it's a Marvel game for mobile. So they actually put together a new studio called Second Dinner. Brode's in it, former Hearthstone executive producer Hamilton Chu, and several other ex-Blizzard employees. That they've gotten $30 million in investment from a Chinese company, from NetEase specifically, and that their first game's going to be set in the Marvel universe. So
funny thing about NetEase doing it, those are the guys who are doing Diablo Immortal, if I recall.
Yeah, that's the funny part. So they probably already knew him. These guys worked on Hearthstone. Hearthstone is a mobile game, and so they've probably worked with these guys before, I'm sure, on like a Chinese release of Hearthstone maybe, or just some other projects.
This could be something else, but in my opinion, it's highly likely this will be a Marvel CCG in the way that Hearthstone is.
That sounds cool.
Made from the Hearthstone team. And stuff like Hearthstone...
They also talk about trying to put out an actual quality mobile game. So maybe this is one of the mobile games that they try and put hours into, and it's not just an easy cash grab. But
But stuff
Who
like
knows?
Hearthstone, I'm totally fine with being on mobile. You want to know what some good mobile games are? Hearthstone. That's an amazing mobile
dude.
game. Marvel Puzzle Quest. Amazing in quotes. Mobile game.
I just play Crazy Taxi on my phone.
Right. They took out all the licensed music, right?
Fuck no. I
No,
play
really?
Crazy Taxi listening to Offspring and Bad Religion. It has the same 3 songs it always had.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude, it's great. As soon as I learned that those songs were still in it, I actually bought Crazy Taxi for mobile. I'm not joking.
All right. So,
There you go.
the possibly final story for tonight.
Who
And
knows?
this one is more of just like a feel-good, good on you Devolver Digital, because goddamn, I love these people. They get it. I love maybe fictitious CFO Fork Parker. He may or may not be fake. I'm not really sure which. But Devolver, those good guys that they are, recently got this customer service. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see if I can't pull it up right here. Someone emailed Fork Parker saying, I want to buy and play Shadow Warrior 2, so please put it on sale right away. Thank you. All the best, potential future purchaser. To which Devolver Digital responded with, sure thing, boss, you got 1 hour, and deliberately put Shadow Warrior 2 on sale for 75% off on Steam for 1 hour.
Yeah. They made it $10 because some dude on Twitter asked them, hey, can you make this game cheaper so I can buy it?
But the publicity they get, priceless. They absolutely do understand the gamer. And the gamer, in quotes. They have an amazing online presence. They know how to use the internet. As does...
They also have the best E3 presentations.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Devolver is doing it right. I love them. One more thing I want to bring up, David. Why don't you go ahead and lead this one off? Because I think it's a reference to a game you love, but I have no idea what the hell it's about.
Okay, so this is completely ridiculous, and it's a minor aside, but I had to bring it up because it's an actual real thing that happened today. On the Wendy's official Twitter, which if you don't follow Wendy's, man, they're great. They say all kinds of weird shit because whoever's in charge of the Wendy's account is a good person, I'm pretty sure. And unbeknownst to me, Wendy's apparently has a Twitch account and spent a while today playing Rocket League.
Is that what that was about? Okay.
Yes, Wendy's was legitimately playing the Frosty Fest in Rocket League on Twitch.
That's why.
And said, hey, if you guys need boost, download our app and get a free small Frosty with any purchase. Because it's the Frosty Fest, and that's just how they do. So there was actual communication between Wendy's and Psyonix, the guys that make Rocket League today, and that's just fucking amazing.
So, as someone who knows only the base idea behind Rocket League, what's up with the savage chat disabled for 3 seconds?
Okay, so the big thing with Rocket League is it has quick chat, and most of the quick chat is, I mean, some of it's used seriously, but most of it's used ironically. So you just spam the same message over and over.
Okay.
Like, what a shot, nice save, savage. And if you say the same word too many times, your chat is disabled for a few seconds.
Okay.
So that you can't spam the game forever. Wendy's is aware of this and responded to most of the comments on this with just single word Rocket League responses.
It's calculated, I'm assuming, as another one of those, because that's what Rocket League responded back with.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go.
And I can't help it. It's just too funny, so I had to bring it up. There you go.
It's weird that faceless, soulless corporations are who we are trying to become more relatable as gamers.
Yeah, I just don't know what to do about the fact that Wendy's made a damn Twitch account and
a Twitch account
proceeded to play a bunch of fucking Rocket League. There's 3.5 hours of Wendy's playing Rocket League today. Like, I don't know what to do about that.
Watch it, I guess. And speaking of watching things on Twitch, things to watch out for this week is Awesome Games Done Quick. It is a speedrunning marathon over 2 weeks, I believe, for charity. Take a look at it right now. It's AGDQ.
DQ. Or you can just go to gamesdonequick.com.
Yeah, and they're amazing. Some amazing gameplay is shown up on these.
Important to note that Hollow Knight, if you're a fan of Hollow Knight, already happened, and you can find that video on the YouTubes. There's still a lot of stuff coming, though.
Yes, and great. It just started.
A whole lot of stuff.
I believe there's at least a full week, if not 2 full weeks, coming up. I think it goes for like